has something on my face that
No.
makes me look funny?
Okay.
Why are you acting nervous?
Because
Why are you nervous?
I'm not nervous.
Bro, why are you nervous?
Listen, I'm
You're
trying to
sweating
get
a little.
the
He's sweating.
podcast
Can
going.
you zoom into
Can I
that?
start the
He's
podcast,
sweating
please?
under that cap. Lift up your
Jeez.
cap.
Lift up your cap.
You see what I gotta deal
Show
with,
him
y'all?
the hair. Show them the hair.
Okay, let's do
All
this.
right.
Okay, you may begin.
Good afternoon, y'all. This is Anthony Glenn checking in with the Sit Rep podcast where we help you win in real estate. And I got the Gutierrez family. Yay!
Cheers.
All right. Hey, first and foremost, congratulations to a magnanimous 2021.
Yes.
And you guys did a really good job, right? So I got a drink, right? Here we go.
Yeah, can't leave us hanging. There's
Hey,
vodka
so-
in here.
Yo, so check this out. This is the only podcast where you get to take, have tasty beverages and talk about real estate.
He has grape juice though.
This is actually
He's not of age.
wine. Okay, but we're not going to talk about the tea in
Why you
your
lying?
podcast. All right, so Irene, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Irene. No, I'm just kidding. My name's Irene Gutierrez-Ramos. I've been doing real estate for about 4 years, been licensed for 4 years, been doing it full time, thanks to Tony, for 2 years. Prior to that, I have a master's degree in counseling, so I was pursuing that and decided to do real estate for full time now. So I'm super excited about that.
Now,
I'm so excited to have you here.
what I do want to ask you is how much money have you made off your first investment property?
They're going to come after me. I'm just kidding. No, it's not that much. I would say comps around $300,000.
$300,000. And what year did you buy that property?
2016.
Y'all hear that, y'all? $300,000 since 2016 in the first investment property.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, Fabi, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Fabiola Gutierrez. You could call me Fabi for short or Fabulous, however you choose. Just kidding. But I've been in real estate for 3 years now. This is the first brokerage I've ever joined, Remax Liberty in Oceanside, the one and only.
Indeed.
And I love it. I love what I do. Very passionate about it. It never feels like I'm working a day in my life. And I left the corporate world like 3 years ago. Literally.
Yeah, I forced her.
Yeah, I was working 2 jobs. I have my bachelor's degree in behavioral science with a minor in psychology. And it just certain paths in life led me to this, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's awesome, man. So you guys have a very unique story, right? You guys are sisters.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you haven't figured that out, y'all, they're sisters.
Yeah, we look alike. They tell us like we're twins all the time. Just kidding.
Now, so what led you to support veterans? I know you guys got a pretty unique story in regard to how you got started.
Yeah. So at first there was not a lot of resources for my brother. He joined the Marine Corps and he served 4 years, but when he came out with PTSD and it was pretty bad. He was actually homeless for a couple of months. We couldn't find him. And just trying to look for the resources was very difficult. So we took it upon ourselves, mainly Irene at the time because she was the second oldest, to look for resources and go online. We didn't know many of his friends because we couldn't get much out of him. He wasn't he was our brother, but he wasn't really mentally there. So we came across the VA department where then we came across more information that we could use his VA entitlement to purchase a home for himself and just kind of get him back on his feet and take that weight off of my parents and just...
And we gave him the resources. We found the resources. Once we got connected with the VA, it was just all uphill from there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like in and out of mental hospitals. It was a very tough time for our family. But we're very united and we got through it and we were able, he's a lot better now. He has 2 beautiful children. And so that's why we take so much pride in what we do because especially being here in Oceanside, San Diego area, you see a lot of homeless people.
Yeah.
You don't know their story. You just see them.
Yeah.
You don't know. And when we see that, we think of like, that could have been a veteran, you know, that could
have
be
been our
someone.
brother.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That could be someone that needs help, needs resources. You know, and if it wasn't because of that, my brother would not own his home. And he has a ton of equity in his home. He's back on his feet. We've got him the help that we needed. But a lot of people don't know about the VA.
And I would say it gave him a sense of pride back in his life to have a place that he could call home and just go to and be himself. And basically just, I don't know how to say it, like, it just brought him, you know, like anyone, like you want a home, you want a place to call home, and he didn't have that. And we kind of set that responsibility on himself, and now he stepped up and it did a 180 in
like
his
taking
life.
pride in where he's at.
In home ownership. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then Irene, you're a board member of the Veteran Homeowners Club. So Irene has been a board member of the Veteran Homeowners Club since inception. And I remember, y'all, I have a story to tell.
I wasn't even licensed then. Yeah. I really wasn't.
So I want to tell a story, y'all. So there I was at a client appreciation day, and I had on this red Atlanta hat, and I get so sentimental about this because
scarred for life.
I'm scarred for life. The reason why I have to wear hats on the podcast is because Irene just so happened to throw a dish and gash my head open, and I had to get stitches in my forehead.
We're very competitive. We're so competitive, and we love to play, whether it's cards, games, whatever it is. And we were playing throwing water balloons. Tony came to the table to try and take like a ton of stuff from the bucket. I tried to dump the bucket on him. Water. He ran into my bucket.
That's a good way to
and cut him. He was like gushing.
It was so dramatic.
Yes, it's because there was water involved, and so water
she
made
felt
it
so bad.
Dramatic. It was like bleeding everywhere. It wasn't that bad. I'm pretty sure you've done worse in the Marine Corps.
Now, the reason why I brought that story up is, as you can see, so I forgot to bring it in here, but I have a piñata in my office that since my birthday, I can't remember what year it was.
It's like 3 years ago?
3 years ago. 3 years ago, they
when he turned like 55.
I'm not 55, y'all. Don't listen to
that. Just kidding. He's like 53.
So the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because family, right? So to have people in the real estate business that you know, like, and trust, one of the biggest things that I definitely could say that you guys have brought to the real estate company is the family culture, right? So I believe, that little piñata sits on my desk, and it's a reminder of how important it is to do business with people who have their heart in the right place. I mean, where do you guys get that from? Is it a family trait that you have?
It definitely is a family trait. So my dad's side of the family, everyone lives in this small town, and my dad's side of the family, and this actually ties into real estate.
There's like
there's 11 brothers, 2 sisters. No, 9 brothers, 2 sisters. There's 11 of them total. Mm-hmm. They all live in the same town. We're always all at grandma's house. There's Sunday. So many nephews, nieces, everything. And
we really don't need any
friends. We're very, very
tight.
Yeah, that's probably why we have no friends.
So many of us. We have like 50 cousins, and we all know them by name.
We hang out with them.
Color. It's very tight.
And so they're very, very united. And a big portion of why we also got into real estate too is because we saw that from at a young age what real estate does to you and the wealth that it brings. And so a little story of my parents or my dad's side of the family growing up, there's, like I said, 9 brothers, 2 sisters. And what my grandpa would do is he would have all the 9 brothers go and work. And just as they worked, they would give my grandpa the paycheck. All of them would give my grandpa the paycheck. My grandpa would save up those paychecks, and he would buy a house.
That's awesome.
And then they would go around, do it again, and then buy another house. They created like their own like Gutierrez Association is what they called it.
That's awesome.
As grown-ups now, they would all put in a certain amount of money into this little bank account that they had, and they would go and buy land and buy a ton of real estate in the town that we live in. And so, my dad owns 20 acres, and he owns 3 properties.
That I got oranges from, by the way.
Yeah.
They bought me
it's a
fruit.
Beautiful, beautiful town, very small. And so we saw the benefit of that and how, with appreciation and everything, and how it takes time and unity to be able to build wealth. And so that's what we've done.
And just one thing that I could say that they've handed down to us is just being humble. Being humble and genuine, because
and having fun
at the end, and not taking life too serious, because at the end of the day, those are all things you can't take with you.
Oh, and that's the reason why I believe that that's very essential for any type of business. The culture is that if people are doing it from a place of love, you know, making homeowners with love versus the commission, I think that's a essential piece, because people are not going to refer business to people that they got taken advantage of. And you guys make less money, right, for negotiating a good deal for a veteran.
Yeah.
Why do you guys negotiate that? Because you do make less money. I mean, why do you do that?
The way that I see it is, if I do right by my client, when I walk a client into a home, I'm walking them as if this was my cousin, this was my sister. You know, I was glad to represent my sister in a transaction. I fought for her the same that I fought for someone else in that community, just because I want to be able to really help them and have them resonate with that, instead of just being a transaction and never hearing from them, because that's how you'll create friendships. You'll create business, a lot more business. It'll take you further if you really are genuine and caring for the client, as opposed to just putting them into a home that, you know, is like crappy, and they're going to have tons of issues with it. And they're only going to think of you later on.
Yeah. In addition to that, I'm Mexican and I like a good deal.
Yeah. Bueno, bonito y barato.
Yeah. Bueno, bonito y barato. So,
yeah, it's just a Mexicanness too, huh?
Yeah. It's just the competitive, I wouldn't say like, oh, Mexicans do this, but it's like that hunger to just like, if there's a penny on the table, like, I am gonna negotiate it for my client. You know what you could buy with a penny? I don't know, but you know what I'm saying?
You could buy some candy in Mexico.
Yeah, you could buy a chicle. So it's just it's like a game, you know. For me, it's like the ultimate monopoly, and it's also like fun to go shopping and look at these homes, but I'm not the one buying them, you know. But it makes everything so much fun. I like to take the weight and the pressure and the worry off of my I don't even call them clients, I say my families. Because it's already a stressful process, and I want to be there to alleviate that and make it a fun journey for them. So when it comes down to it, they're like, oh my God, this is it. And I'm just like, this is it. But in the back end, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, what are we doing? Like, this is going
and
south
it's
and
crazy
left. But I could carry that on and then not have my client do that, because most of our clients, like we mentioned, 90% of them are veterans. So they're already going through hardships at work, right?
Yeah,
and they already have busy schedules, and they already are going through things at home, personal stuff. Not to say that I'm not, but this is the profession I chose to alleviate that pressure from them.
That's good. And I definitely want to say something too. So I remember this. I remember a cold, rainy day. I was at Irene's house, and we were doing some training. And this young lady walked downstairs with no deodorant on, smelling like cheeseburger onions. Came downstairs. Hold on now. Came downstairs looking all dusty. I said, you know what? How much money you want to make in real estate? What was the answer?
How much do you make?
What was the answer? Tell us the answers on here. I want to know.
I know the answer.
Again, he was asking me how much I want to make in real estate, and I had no idea what that even entailed. And I was already happy working with the job I was working. I was working with children who have autism, and a late night shift, a graveyard shift, as a cocktail server. So when he told me how much I want to make, I'm like $20,000 a year. He's like, Jack, we can make that tomorrow. I was like, well, what is he talking about? And the
rest is history.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to wrap up with this. You know, doing what we do is a thankless service at times, but I would tell you from my perspective, being able to start the Win in Real Estate mentoring platform is huge. And for those of you who don't know, we started a Win in Real Estate mentoring program, wire10k.com. And these are this is our masterclass where we teach people how to invest in real estate. And the young ladies that are sitting right here are number one, top producing agents. So we're going to teach you how to produce, become a six-figure real estate agent. And then we're also going to help you underwrite properties as well as become a brand ambassador. So,
and we're going to be helping military spouses as well.
That's right. So,
which I take dear for, myself. I'm a military spouse.
Imagine how many lives we're going to change. Yeah. I'm just like so excited. And then to put things into I always like to cast things out into the universe. So like how many veterans are we putting into homes this year. We haven't talked about that.
Okay, so
I know the first year I was like 100 vets.
Yes.
Homes.
So we went from 100 to 300. We did 500. Then we went to 1,000 vets. So I'm going to say 2,000 veterans and real estate investors this year. So I'm excited for that. And like, yes, let's go, y'all. Let's go. So I definitely want to say this. Once again, I appreciate all of the love that you guys have put in being the glue in RE/MAX Liberty. So let's just think about this before we close down. I got Irene, okay, board member, and she's a secretary of the Veteran Homeowners Club. She is a instructor in the Wire Winning Real Estate Mentoring Masterclass. And then also she's a top producing agent and team leader of the Dream Team. Now watch, I also want to say this, okay, Marco is her husband. I want to recognize him. I was introduced to Irene, and she became.
He was actually my realtor.
Yeah, yeah.
Marco?
No, Tony.
I was not like I didn't know that story.
So the crazy part about this is that Marco led me to Irene. Irene brought her sister in, and then also we have your cousin as well in the mortgage company. So as you can see, you know, the love has expanded in regard to the business, and then also I really appreciate you guys being the glue. Now I do have a question before we close down. What is one win in real estate nugget that you want to share with the audience before we shut down? Fabi, go.
One that I've been coming across lately is definitely don't go to new construction by yourself. I know a lot of people have different views on that, but you definitely want somebody in your corner that's going to fight for you. You don't want to go in there misrepresented. Basically, again, because I said there's a lot of things that are on the table that you may not know of that could be of your benefits. Such things as getting your closing costs covered, negotiating it could be easily range from $5,000 to $15,000 that you're leaving on the table. Negotiating little things like shutters, washer, dryer, refrigerator, upgrades and things like that. So, there's some places as well that they will push you to upgrade every single little thing in the home. But
wait. I wanna pause right there because I think that we need to make sure that we echo that, right? So
I always go to the design center with my clients.
Yes,
because they don't like it. I go to the design center with my clients. I make sure that the price of what they're buying for flooring is like really comparable. And two, I go to their final walkthrough. Because of COVID, a lot of people were like, you can't come to the walkthrough. I showed up. I showed up. I'm like, oh wow, like these are my clients. Yeah. They're gonna be so excited of the home. They're not gonna notice little things.
Exactly.
I walk barefoot. This is a funny story, but I actually walk barefoot in the new construction home, and I'm walking through everything. And the reason for that is because sometimes the flooring, they don't put it right, and there's bubbles. Or the carpet. And I've stepped on nails. I've stepped on, like, uneven carpet.
Wow,
and I'm
you
like,
really sacrifice yourself.
Yeah.
This is what we do, though. And that's one of the things that I say. Just don't go in there by yourself because, again, you're seeing the home. You're seeing it staged. You're seeing it not as a resold home, right? So there's still things, just because it's a new home doesn't mean there isn't complications or anything could go wrong. So definitely don't go into new construction unrepresented and take a
by
realtor
yourself.
with her. Yeah.
And then if y'all didn't hear that, so what I heard just for the audience is new construction don't go, and then those upgrades, what they'll do is that if you're financing it, you'll be paying for 30 years on something that you can get outside of that.
That part. Repeat it again. Repeat that part again.
I had my clients this past time. I had them finance the flooring outside, and a lot of people builders won't let you. But because we built that relationship with this specific new construction company, they allowed my clients to pay for the flooring outside of escrow, so that they're not charged for it for the amount of time that they're going to have.
I did that myself when I bought my home.
That's really good. That's really good. That's a really good nugget, because that person sitting in that office doesn't represent the buyer. They represent the business. So
the house is going to get sold regardless, so they don't care to whom it's going to get sold.
And just to add one more little nugget, like you call it. There's no cost to you to be represented by an agent. And I think that's another misconception that people have. they think that they need to pay for that service. And the truth is, we're not getting paid as agents to be represented, to represent you. We're getting paid by the sellers. So again, just don't go in there unrepresented. It's not gonna be good.
It's not gonna be. And some of y'all are not gonna take this advice, but you heard it
but
right
then you're
here.
gonna call me or DM me on Instagram and be like,
does
Fabi,
this
can
look
you
right?
look
Can
my
you look
contract?
over at the contract so many
Yeah,
times?
so
And I'm
many
like,
times.
why are they charging you this? No, we could get you a better deal.
Yeah.
That would be my nugget. Make sure that, especially veterans.
Real quick, I had a veteran put down like an earnest money deposit of $15,000.
No, 500. New
Wow.
construction, 500.
Literally, it was my
500 max, maybe 3,000 if anything.
Yeah, in today's time, probably 3,000 max, but 15. I'm like, what are you doing?
And the reason why they have you put that earnest money
So you won't
deposit
back
down
out.
is so you don't back out of the contract and they try to make you lose it. Fun fact, and Irene can echo this before you give your nugget. Thank you for that information. That's good, Fabi. But why do you believe, Irene, that they make you put down the high earnest money deposit?
So that you don't back out.
Exactly.
So that you don't back out, so that you're tied into it. A lot of people, and this is my nugget, make sure, especially as a veteran, make sure that you have the right team behind you, whether that's a realtor or a lender that really know the VA loan backwards, forwards, every kind of way, because there's so many things that people have myths and misconceptions, or there's places like LA where there's not a lot of veterans, but if you have a veteran buying a house out there, one, there's misconceptions. That realtor doesn't know how to use the VA loan. They think it's like 30 years ago. Remember that agent that was like in the business for like 60 years?
Oh, she said, I've been in for 60 years and was wrong.
Yeah, and we were able to close way before time. And, it's just educating the recipient or the seller.
Well, we
on
don't
that
have
end.
to go too far, right? In the military community, it's a different lingo, right?
Yep.
You tell another agent, oh yeah, my client or my family is PCSing, and they're like, what is that? And
What form is that?
so it's just think about it this way. It's no different when you are being represented by an agent. There's so many different vocabulary and terms and
Even
advantages
negotiating.
that the VA entitlement has
Yep.
that other agents don't know. And it's at no fault to them. It's just like
Tidewater.
Yep.
Like that, like in a regular transaction, Tidewater, which basically means that the appraisal came lower than what you're offered, it hits Tidewater in the VA. And a lot of people don't know that. And so what that means is that appraisal sticks with the actual service member, and you can rebuttal that appraiser as opposed to other.
Man, y'all kicking them hot flames. Y'all kicking the flames, man. So basically what she was saying is Tidewater appraisal, before we shut down the podcast, that's a really good one, Irene. The Tidewater appraisal sticks with the veteran, not with the property, because it's associated with the veteran's social security number. I'm glad that you said that, because
And you don't have to disclose it to the seller. You know how many times it's come
oh my God,
at
yeah.
value or above value, and they're like,
what did
is
it came in at?
It
Because
came
they want to
good.
negotiate those repairs.
Exactly. That's good. Well, I really thank you guys for coming on the SITREP podcast. I'm excited about the Win in Real Estate mentoring and seeing what you guys have to offer in that course. Irene, how can we find you?
You could find me at the Remix office. No, I'm just kidding. No. You can find me on Instagram at Irene Gutierrez Realtor, or on Clubhouse as Irene Gutierrez, and Facebook, Irene Gutierrez.
Awesome. And Fabi, how can we find you?
Through Google Maps. Just kidding. I'm sorry. So you can find me on Instagram, Fabi Gutierrez Official, and then on Facebook, Fabi Gutierrez, and I'm also on Clubhouse.
Awesome. And I'm your host, Anthony Glenn, and you can find me on wire10k.com or Tony Glenn II on Instagram. And another Win in Real Estate SITREP podcast.
Hold on.
Go.
We're not going to let him go. Anthony, what is your nugget?
Yeah.
What is your
man?
What have you learned this last year that just because you've been in this industry since like 1947, so I'm like really curious to know what's one thing that you've learned recently.
One thing that I've learned is that it's important to do business with the right people over the most people, and then also people are always going to try to copy what you're doing, but it's okay. It's because you're the original.
Yeah,
So
you could give him the recipe, but the sauce isn't going to taste the same.
Exactly. Those are my two nuggets for going into 2022. And then lastly, you know what? Forgiveness. You know, I know this is kind of outside of, what we want to talk about, but I definitely want to say this. There's no opportunity for you to grow if you're not forgiving. Forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you, okay? To release things that are keeping you from your purpose, okay? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, every last one of us have an opportunity to win, but the only way you can win is if you're allowing other people to win around you. And that is what, as long as your culture and your purpose remains the same, there's always going to be wind that blows the leaves off the tree. But at the end of the day, that wind is providing new opportunities for the tree to grow. And then also, if you're rooted in your purpose, which is love, character, respect, and growing other people, then you're still a tree. So don't get unnerved by a little bit of wind, because at the end of the day, you still can grow. That's my nugget for today.
We forgive you.
All right, y'all. Make sure you follow the Winning Real Estate podcast. This is and Sit Rep podcast. This has been an amazing time with you guys. Hey, and we're out.